Hey folks, welcome back to another SPY Options Challenge. This is the final update for 2023. So let's take a look at how I did this week, which is not good because I lost money, especially on the last day, but I'll talk about that. So last week's update, I mentioned it's likely the SPY will go higher, which looks like it did this week. Monday was a holiday, and we have 3 up days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday was the only down day for the week. In terms of my trades, I made $52 on Tuesday, just $9 on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, I took a bit of a gamble. I sold 10 full put spreads to make $400 here, 40 times 10, and I put that in at the end of the trading session with an expiration date of the next day, which is Friday, the 29th. So either SPY goes higher than 477 and I collect all of the premiums, or if it goes down, the idea was I would close my positions at maybe around 80 cents a contract. So either I was going to make like $400 or I was going to lose $400, and it all depends on the final day of the week, which was the next day. And the reason I put this trade in is because on Thursday, you can see we have this red bar with a longer wick on the top than the bottom. And usually when this happens, 70% of the time, the market goes up the next day. Now, in this case, it didn't work out the way I wanted to. And you can see I sold, or basically closed those positions 5 at a time for a pretty big loss. And ultimately, I'm down $836 for Friday, which I believe is the biggest single day loss. But the reason I was okay taking this risk is because I knew that even if I lost a lot of money in this 1 week, I would have made up for it throughout the rest of the year. So the final count for this entire week is negative $275. If I didn't make that really risky trade on Thursday, it would be a positive number. But in any case, my premiums for the entire year totals 17,177, which is a 57% return on a $30,000 initial investment, which is what I allocated for this challenge. Meanwhile, the SPY for last week returned 0.55%, so another positive week. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 consecutive positive weeks in a row, which is very rare to see for an index. Like for any particular stock, it's more likely that would happen because the capitalization is lower and you don't need a lot of money to move the price. But for an index, this is pretty rare. It went from an annual return of 7% in week 43, which would be like the fall of this year, all the way to up 24% year to date in a single movement, going up without any kind of correction on the weekly time frame at least. But the point of this challenge was to see if I can beat the SPY using just options, and it looks like it was a success. I'm at 57% compared to 24% for the index. This is what the chart looks like. So overall, I think this was a success. For next year, what I want to do is see where were the mistakes I made, because there were some weeks where I was down like this week, and then a few weeks ago, like, could I have cut my losses earlier? Did I get tricked by false breakouts or false breakdowns? So those are things I need to consider. Also, I'm going to allocate more capital to a challenge like this. So instead of 30,000, maybe I'll go like 50,000 or 60,000, so that if my returns are similar for next year, then my premiums earned would be higher on a dollar basis, and I would basically make more money that way. Of course, doing this for 1 year so far isn't a trend or anything. You can see I was underperforming the SPY for the first month and a half because the index had a really strong start to this year. And it wasn't really until like halfway through the year, about week 28, 29, where the performance started to diverge. And that's because when you're selling options, you can make money when the market goes up, down, or sideways. The only way you can really lose money is if volatility goes higher and the market moves in a very sporadic way. But otherwise, I think this is a pretty fun challenge to do. Thanks a lot for following along, especially those who have been with this challenge since the beginning. I look forward to more challenge videos in 2024. Have a great new year, everyone. Good luck with your investments, and I'll talk to you next year.